All right, the Detroit Lions finally get good defensive end news. That's the big story. We love Aiden Hutchinson. He's just like an all-world, and it's like, man, it'd be nice if we had somebody else. And we all know that the Detroit Lions have been linked to, let me pull it up here, linked to Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati's defensive end. He's unhappy, requested a trade, so we're in the running there. We'll get to why it probably doesn't work, but the second good news, and we'll get back to him in just a second, but it's good news just to know that there's a premier defensive end available we could be in the running for. Second good news on that is that the defensive coaches for the Lions talked, and the defensive coordinator said Marcus Davenport is unbelievable. He has the physical traits. He's got everything that we want, but he can't stay healthy. So you can't help that a lot of times. Here he is on the right defensive end. This is what he did week 1 against the Rams. He's healthy. He's just a problem. And week 1, he had 6 pressures, 4 hits. There was his half sack. He had 31 pass rush snaps and was unbelievable. 6 total pressures during that time on pass rushes. So the good news is Marcus Davenport we have back for cheap. And I'm going to, people are going to yell at me for this, but it's like, I love Marcus Davenport. Shepard went through, our defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, went through and it was like, since he's gotten into the league, back at the Saints, he's unstoppable. Only thing that stops him is injuries. And it's a half like laugh because what if he doesn't run into injuries? We've got a star-studded defensive end combo that you've got a premier guy, like the best pass rusher coming back from an injury, should be good. All signs like he's just going to be back to normal. Second thing is Marcus Davenport. So there's good news, number 2. And then the third good news about our defensive end situation, and we'll get back to Marcus Davenport here in a second, but Za'Darius Smith is still out there. And I love what it was said here is that Za'Darius Smith was in a brutal situation. Brutal's the wrong word, but a bad situation last year where he comes in, traded, midseason, veteran, has to immediately we're all just like, all right, man, be our number 1 edge rusher. Let's go. Need you. And it's like, dude, I'm on a defense full of practice squad players trying my best to hold up this defense so that we can go to a Super Bowl. No pressure. So Za'Darius Smith, imagine him coming back. He's got Hutch. He's got Davenport. He's rotating in. You've got the rookie that we got from Boise State. And we've just kind of got this nice, and he kind of gets in there. He's more of a situational pass rusher. That would be perfect. So when I say that the Lions finally got good pass rushing news or defensive end news is that we've just been dogging on Brad Holmes or wondering what we're going to do. It's like we're in really good shape. I believe that. You can't fix everything all at once. We've fixed everything else over the course of Brad Holmes being here. And then I think we just assume like, cool, we got Hutch, let's get somebody else. It's like, man, these dudes are so hard to find. They really are. And you look at free agency, all those defensive ends in free agency, old descending players. And that's really what Za'Darius Smith is too. And Davenport, really, they're probably not ascending. We know that. But why add more of those? You got to draft them. We didn't draft them. We went for some different positions. We have an ascending player, though, in Aiden Hutchinson, who, again, the injury is going to be a thing. We got to figure that out. But I think we should all be good on that. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on the defensive ends. I just think we're good. I don't. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just am crazy. All right. Here's another one here is this was Marcus Davenport when he had his injury, but I want to go back to right here. Kelvin Shepard is talking about him, and I don't know if I can play the audio or not. It doesn't matter, but he's talking about him, and he's just like, I have full faith in him. Love him. He's a great player, and that's, again, what's he gonna say? But it did feel a little different. It felt a little more like he's unbelievable, and we're gonna be just fine. Okay. One other thing that is interesting is that PFF came out And I want to go back to this. Talked about this the other day, but the Detroit Lions offseason, just now that it's pretty much over, give them a B-. And I think that's fair. I mean, especially if you add in the Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn situation. Aaron Glenn, I just love. I loved him all throughout. I thought he was in a pretty tough situation. We didn't have the defensive players. Then when we finally do get a good defense, they all get injured. So Aaron Glenn, I'm all for. I think I'm rooting for him. Ben Johnson, not so much. Not rooting for him at all. Want him to fail miserably, probably because he's in the division. I get that. But also, I'm really curious because, look, he was protected by Dan Campbell. He was protected. He got to just be Mr. Mad Scientist, focus on offensive plays, and he's just tinkering. He's got this veteran group now. They've been together. He's drawing up all kinds of things, and it was awesome. And he's a great play caller, and all in all, really incredible what he did, of course. But now he's a head coach, and so again, what happens when you lose a couple in a row and the media's kind of poking at you? What happens when you got a guy that wants to be traded, a defensive end that's wants to, there's just so much that he has to now deal with. That's perfect. So not rooting for Ben Johnson. Aaron Glenn, let's go. Now, but B-, look, you swap Carlton Davis for DJ Reed. We know that. You basically swap Tate Ratledge for Kevin Zeitler, which is an incredible swap. I mean, really, and this is why draft picks are so huge. This is a perfect example. You let Zeitler walk, who gets $8 or $9 million, gets a lot of money for being 35 years old. It's got to go. And he's a descending player. Like, he's got 1 year. That's it. Tate Ratledge is here for the next however long he wants to be here. For next 4 for sure. It's a contract extension. I mean, he's an 8-year Detroit Lion. No question. And then the front office didn't do much to get. This is just what we were talking about. That's why I want to bring this up, is that the Lions didn't do much outside of Aiden Hutchinson, and we're really kind of counting on him coming back to normal. And that's what I think he will. And then Davenport needs you. And then we've got Za'Darius Smith that we could sign. We've got the rookie. We've got some other guys. Like, I think we're better than we think on the defensive side of the ball. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. But I'll go back to Trey Hendrickson. The reason that's going to be hard is because you have to give draft picks, and he wants money, and we got to sign Aiden Hutchinson. But I love that he's available. I just love that he's out there and available. There's also a defensive end from the 49ers that's available too that was just cut. So it's like, okay, there's options. We're not just like totally dead here with defensive ends. They're hard to come by. People want them. But we've got options. So let me know your thoughts, and we'll see all of you on the next one.